Hopefully I don't just shit in the middle of this. That'd be awful. All right, guys, what's up? This is McAllister's podcast. I'm your host, as always, Coleman McAllister. Another super solo episode today. I really like alternating these, kind of spreading it out, diversifying. The last solo episode we did got an astounding amount of views. So thanks to everybody for tuning into that and subscribing and all that. Hell yeah, we love that. And also I want to address and just remind everybody that this is not this is not an open door. Okay, we're not becoming the Joe Rogan Experience again. This is my own ride. This is my own lane. I'm gonna pick and choose who I want, and if you keep asking me to come on the show, I'm not gonna let you on. I'm sorry. Okay, so to be a dick right off the bat, I kind of wanted to do an episode today, kind of based around some of the porn stuff. And I haven't really done this episode or an episode kind of like this in a while. Because I myself have been struggling with a lot of it. Been relapsing a lot, been really having some really tough times. I feel like this 2024 year, I mean, not even in terms of what's happening in the world, right? But just personally, and I kind of predicted this, that I don't know, and maybe this is a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, right? But I feel like I did in a way kind of think that 2024 was going to be a lot like 2020, where it wasn't even about what was happening in the world. It was about what was happening personally. I mean, just for me personally, I know a lot of people around me too. It was just a tough year, and I feel like this is kind of the same in a way. But anyway, so I've been struggling with a lot of relapse type of stuff, and that's been hard. That's been difficult. Even breaking my streak of no masturbation for I think I went 14 months. And I had the one, and I've been going fine since. And like I say at the beginning of all these, if this is not your thing, I'm not offended. I totally get the other side of the aisle when it comes to the porn argument. I'm not one of those people who's crazy radical and gonna be balls to wall with it, right? I always just say, this is my own personal experience. I know for me personally, consuming and watching pornography was and is very harmful to me, and is not something that I promote or I think is really a good idea. But anyways, so I just kind of wanted to reflect on that and kind of just, I don't know. I think one of the things that's really hard, I think being fuck, I should make a note of this because I want to talk about that. Some of the, things that have been really a challenge, with this journey of recovery is really, learning, and I think I've talked about this a little bit, but really learning to love yourself, really learning to, and also forgive yourself, right? That's something I've historically always had an awful time with. I remember being a kid and doing shit at school or whatever, and when I was in first, second grade, and I still think about these things, right? And I think that's normal on the human level. I've heard stories like that before. But I don't know, when you live the experience, it's really hard to just really step away and step back for that and really be okay, remove myself out of this, right? Logically, is this really something that I need to be killing myself over? And I've been having a really good week with it, actually, overall. So I thought it'd be good to kind of check in with that, kind of just, I do know that there are people, like I say, that do struggle with this problem that have reached out to me, and hope you're doing okay. I hope things are going well for you, wherever you're at. Don't worry. Especially in the modern day and age of the world we live in, is a constant battle. It's a constant struggle. There's a lot going on out there in the world. Like I said, but not even in not even in that context, right? Just the culture and the sexuality that is rampant, and that's another thing too, right? That really makes this whole thing complicated. Is you don't want to necessarily sacrifice your own sexuality or like hinder your own sexuality or what you're attracted to or how you feel or whatever. You still want to like be in tune with that in a sense, but it's hard to balance. It's hard to balance those things. So I hope however anybody's doing, that they do okay. All right. Another thing I wanted to touch on with this, some recent news. Some not even recent news. I'm working on the intros, guys, okay? We're like 200 episodes in, but I'm still figuring out this shit, okay? Give me a break. Give me a break, you motherfuckers. All right, but 2024 has been kind of a crazy year because, let's be real, right? I mean, like, every fucking year, it seems like nowadays, like, you hear about a couple, at least, porn stars who, and this isn't even funny, but porn stars who, tragically die. And because like that's the thing, I don't at the end of the day, I don't think it's like funny, it's really kind of weird in a way when you like jerk off to someone on a screen for years and then they kind of just die, and then you kind of, in a way, you kind of feel really scummy about it. You're like, okay, well, this is like, this career probably in a way led to their demise in some fashion. I mean, a lot of them die young, and it's just kind of, it's interesting to take away, I guess. I don't even necessarily want to say it's sad because, I mean, again, I don't want to like, at the end of the day, I don't like want to condone sex work or people who are involved in that industry, like on a real level, right? Like, I mean, like I may not think that personally that's the best route to take in life, but I by no means think that somebody should not be able to do that if that's how they choose to make money. I think that's fine. So it's kind of a hard balance, right? With that, with thinking about that thing. Like, what? I don't know. I guess it's just a weird thing to just hear about that. Like, oh, like all these chicks died. Names like kind of trigger you. Maybe skip like 20 seconds, but Cagney Lynn Carter, Jenna Jameson. This is how much of a fucking pervert I am, right? Jenna Jameson and Emily Will. So those two have died. Cagney Lynn Carter killed herself. I think it was the age of 39. Jenna Jameson, I think she was in her 40s. She overdosed and died. And the whole overdose thing, I will say, I think a lot of people kind of over dramatize that. Boom. All right. We're back. My computer completely crashed in the middle of that. I've never had that happen before while recording a podcast here, so that was a little scary. But anyways, Cagney Lynn Carter, Jenna Jameson, and Emily Willis is recently in the hospital due to an OD. I don't know if I talked about this before the crash, but I think the whole OD thing is kind of it's skewed a lot of times. I think people don't factor in like maybe fentanyl's in it, which is like a completely different thing than like using a drug. That's more so like in my mind, I look at it as like the drug is tainted. It's almost poisoned in a way. Like if you ate like poison food, nobody would like give you, I mean, they might give you a little guff for that if it was like old or something like that, right? But I mean, if it was poison in the sense of like a manufacturer, I mean, whoever made that like put poison in it, nobody would like give you grief for that. But for some reason, like when an OD happens, because the drug is illegal, people then just kind of write it off as, oh, well, they just OD'd. They just did too much. I mean, we don't know the details of what happened with either of these women. They could have just used normal amount. It's possible they used too much and they really overdosed. Who really knows? I don't know. I didn't do that much research. I didn't do that much research on it. And the weird thing for me is like a lot of the reason that I would even find this out is like it would be in the middle. This is another weird aspect to it, right? It's like it's always in the middle of me in a session where I'm just like lost in like the reels or the booty reels or whatever, and then like this thing comes up where it's like these dead or porn stars or Emily Willis was like in a vegetative state, and I think she just got out of a coma. I was doing research for this. Okay, I want to. There are people on here who are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And that's fine. I don't give a shit. But it's like, I don't know. Like, would a person like that even return to the industry? That's kind of you would kind of hope not, right? If they were really like mentally declined in a way that like they shouldn't be working or whatever, I don't know. There's something kind of wrong about that, I feel like. But, I don't know. So it's kind of a weird thing to think about. I've said that 5 times. But look, there's something to be said for like these people are dead, right? Or dead or like in serious peril because of this thing that like, a lot of men and, surprisingly a growing number of women are consuming on a regular basis. And it's kind of weird in a way. It gives you kind of fuel in a way. I don't know. It's good insight. It's a good reason to kind of step back and be like, okay, I don't know. I don't really know if I buy into the whole idea that like the consumer is is the reason for the problem, right? If you're consuming it, then you're the reason, right? I don't really know if I agree with that, but I guess at the end of the day, it's just kind of something to think about too, right? In a way, you are representing how you feel with your capital, right? How you spend your money or even your time, really. So one more aspect I want to talk about with this whole thing, something that I've found really frustrating over the last year, I would say. And I just kind of want to be honest with everyone how I feel about this. I've been really trying to like explore the scope of online communities, right? Really over the last probably 5 months, I've really been trying to do the online thing. I think I've talked before maybe I haven't, about my experience with SAA, Sexual Addicts Anonymous, a very religious organization. I no atheist can get past step 2. It's just not possible. In my mind, it's not possible to give how I feel into anything. I haven't really looked into it. There is a resource I know for atheists who may be, I think Jason Manel also talked about some stuff, and maybe this is the same thing, but the SMART program, I think that's again, I haven't looked into it, but that's supposed to be a kind of a replacement for AA for those who are maybe more atheistic or agnostic minded or non-secular or whatever. But anyways, it's been a frustrating experience for me trying to find a community, a group of people who I can vibe with. That's another thing too, is like I feel like I need to vibe in a way. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe that's something I need to get over. But it's just difficult it's just difficult for me to honestly to be integrated into society at all. I feel like a lot of times, even though it sounds dramatic. So it's just been a really difficult challenge. A challenging time trying to find an online community of people who I can really connect with. It's just been kind of a hit or miss. Sometimes it's good and then something kind of sours it up. Here's a big part of the problem, right? Is you have a lot of people in these groups who are truly like have mental issues, clearly some kind of autism, like severe autism or something like that. That is really has just with porn just has kind of skewed their mind and kind of just There's something about like not understanding where social, like the natural part of autism, where not really understanding where social boundaries are and just kind of leaping over them. That can really be like when you're in a vulnerable place, when you're really trying to like reach out to people and really talk about what you're struggling with, can just be really inappropriate and really make you feel uncomfortable. And I had a very similar experience to that this recently with that, and it was fine. It didn't even really bother me that much. But it was just something that I think people should take away. This fucking cat. I hear one thing and it throws me off. I've had previous experiences on like Discord groups and such where it just like in that instance it just got political. And it just, I don't know. It's hard. It's because the internet is difficult. And I know I'm broadcasting on the internet, right? But like navigating the internet is difficult, and navigating people on the internet is difficult. And it's hard. It's really hard. I think a big part of the reason why I focus so much on podcasting is I feel like it's one of the last ways that an individual can really express themselves online, like purely in like pure form. I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult navigating. It's difficult just posting shit into the void, even posting the reels or whatever, it's weird. And then you get roasted online for trashing on Caitlin Clark. People get so mad about that. It's so funny. Oh my God, we heard all of it. I woke like overnight. I woke up and I was like, holy shit, we have like 9 more subscribers on Unhinged Uncensored and like 38 comments just fucking pissed off people. It was so funny. It is so funny to read. Most of them were roasting. It was pretty good, I won't lie. That is just some of the shit that's like with like, I don't know. I guess for me, I've done it for so many years and had so many negative encounters with people that I just find it funny at this point. I hate to sound cocky like that, but it's fucking true. Like I have people like call me. I've had probably, I don't know, at least 1 or 2 people who have called me angry about my podcast. I get angry messages, angry comments. I don't give a fuck, people. I've been riding this shit since the 80s. No, I don't know. Okay, I guess in conclusion to like the porn stuff, just like I said, keep strong, everybody. Everybody's struggling with that. Those kind of even seem like hollow words, being someone who's been struggling with that. I feel good this week, but I'm sure there will be a period coming up where I'll feel bad again and I'll be struggling with it, and that kind of sucks. But I've been trying to find healthy ways to channel that, and I think that's been productive. I guess that's just something I'm trying to focus on. I'm trying to do more yoga, shit like that. Just trying to, I don't know, step away. I guess because I have found no community in that really, besides like, a couple friends and my partner. It's difficult to like take the whole, not even take it seriously, but like when you're like just looking in the scope of that, it's difficult. It's easy to kind of like lose the want to do it. But I don't know. So I guess my point is like me focusing on myself and the meditation aspect and all that, the yoga aspects. It sounds stupid and silly, but I think even doing something minimal like that is good. Some kind of exercise, as they say. As Eric Andre said, non-negotiable. Okay. So, all right. So a couple of things that I want to talk about. This whole thing with the death of a murderer. Yeah, fucking wild. So the death of OJ Simpson. I never heard, it's because I wasn't around when that was happening. I mean, I was around, but I was a fucking baby, right? But I saw the Ice Cube Gooding the show, which is kind of weird in hindsight with all the allegations against him and stuff in relation to the P. Diddy. I haven't really looked into that. I don't know what the recent updates on that, but yeah, it's weird that he's gone, right? The man's gone. I mean, look, here's the thing. He's still spent most of his life in prison. And although I don't necessarily, I don't at all subscribe to the idea of like government run prisons. I do think that there are times where there is kind of a sense of justice served with these people when they really finally like they kind of get what they deserve in a sense. I don't think that has to be carried out by a state, as you can guess. I'm sick of talking about anarchism. I started my week out with like a half-hour discussion about anarchism, and I'm kind of just over. I'm over explaining to people. I'm like, look it up, man. I don't know. It's so, and you hear so much. The thing that I've noticed is how attributed it is to violence. That's been kind of a crazy thing with that. But anyways, the whole thing with OJ, it's just wild. It's wild that he's finally gone. It's weird to think. It's weird to think about. Okay, one last thing that I wanted to mention before we wrap up here. The QT, the big Quentin Tarantino news that like shocked me. I think this was yesterday. The day, when this will be out, it would have been last Thursday. When Quentin Tarantino announced that he is no longer making the film The Movie Critic, which I kind of had, I don't even want to say mixed feelings. Maybe I'll say that. Kind of mixed feelings about his approach with his, because this is claimed to be his last film, which makes sense. I think it's honestly kind of a smart move in my mind. I've talked before about like how I think some of these directors are kind of just, for lack of a better term, aging out in a way. And I think he's acknowledged that happens a lot. So I think the fact that he's kind of giving himself a point where he's going to stop and just kind of focus on other things, I think it's really positive. So, but it's kind of weird in a way, right? Because it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was his last film. I only saw it the one time. I wasn't a huge fan. As much as I love Quentin Tarantino, I feel like, I think his worst movie is Jackie Brown by far. I don't understand why people like that movie so much. I will say Robert De Niro is pretty great in it. And Samuel L. Jackson. But it's the one time where he just did something that was completely unoriginal to him. Like it was just like a adaptation, which is fine. I mean, look, he had just come off of Pulp Fiction. He had a lot of hype around him. He could do really whatever. I think this was really like a passion project for him, and that's fine. But just in scope to the rest of what he's done, and like his creativity and his ability to like really create a little mini world, and really like the fact that like Inglourious Bastards is like just this completely fictional adaptation of Nazi Germany that like starts out realistic but just ends in like this fucking bizarre alternate universe where Hitler is like in the theater blown up. Spoiler alert, sorry. But it's just kind of, it was, I guess, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just seemed very subdued and toned down. And I do really want to, I may even like purchase it and rewatch it, because there are some really excellent performances in that. I did think it was as a film, it was good. It had all the structure and everything, but it didn't really feel like a Tarantino film. It it felt like, I don't even want to say like a knockoff or anything, but it just seemed kind of removed from what he, like the boom and the action of like what he's, used to doing. Even something like Hateful Eight, that was, more, it's like a 3-hour drama, like basically a play, amongst these characters where things are revealed, through clever dialogue throughout. I mean, that movie is entrancing. That's it's honestly tied with Pulp Fiction in my mind of his greatest movies. It's so fucking good. Excuse me. So the fact that he kind of came in with this subdued, not even subdued, but like just kind of toned down movie with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's kind of it's not even a bad thing, but it is kind of signifying that he's exploring different things as a filmmaker, which I think is also interesting. In a way, I like it when directors do that. So there's that aspect to it. But so I thought the movie critic. I did it again. I thought it was a very interesting concept. From everything I read about it, it seemed like it could be a very good movie. However, like I said, this news that he's decided to drop the project, in a way, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of excites me. I think a lot of people are kind of saying R.I.P. I guess I haven't even really read the reactions. I just kind of had read the news. I'm assuming people are kind of, I don't know, at least flabbergasted, right? I was a little flabbergasted. I was like, oh, wow, he really is like, I mean, probably a lot went into this already, right? I mean, I just canceled the movies, so it's whatever, it happens. But anyways, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think I really wonder and hope that maybe he's really rethinking the whole thing and he wants to go out the bang. He really wants to make some like, Django Unchained, Kill Bill-esque, really violent fucking, spectacle, right? I really, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did have some, some good action and violence, but it was very minimal. And I really wonder if he's going to maybe go that route. And that's really exciting. So we'll see what the future holds. I don't know. I'm assuming this will, obviously nothing's going to come out this year from him. I don't know if it was even planned for that. Oh, guys, we just need to get through 2024. I will say on the movie side of the conversation, I will say there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. That really excites me. I feel like that happened in 2020 also. I feel like there was, I don't even really remember off the top of my head what came out, but I feel like I remember that year a lot of good stuff coming out too. So it's kind of weird how that works. Like there's all this shit going on, but there's also like a heavy layer of distractionary to it. And we'll say just kind of, I feel like I've just kind of had a mindset in general of really trying to remove myself anyways from a lot of the political stuff, but it's hard. I do still listen to political podcasts, and there are times where I find myself having to pause it. I have to pause the episode because I end up getting a little upset, which makes me sound mature. Maybe I am. I don't know. I think it's also human though, because it affects us, right? It affects us how all this happens. Anyways, I feel like I've ranted enough today. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. The McAllister half hour. I'm doing these in the mornings before I go to work, and it's I don't know if that's a good or bad idea, but we're here, we're doing it. I appreciate all of you. Tune into Unhinged Uncensored. I think actually this week we're taking a week off this week because go check out we did an audio live stream of 420 episode. So go check that out. We also have, if you want the full video version, we have that behind the paywall on Patreon. So go check that out. We'll put that in the description of this video as well. But check out that previous live stream that we had. It was a lot of fun. And go check out the Guts and Gore podcast, streaming every Thursday. We will have, actually, no, this episode we're going to take off. So I guess this is really the only thing going on this week. And that's fine. We all need time off, right? And especially when we're not making any money off this yet. You need to do that. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.